how to build and deploy a Micronaut application using Jenkins. Here's today's starting point. I have a Jenkins LTS controller version 2.346.1, and attached to this controller, I have a Linux-based agent that has the Heroku CLI installed. Down in the description of this video is a link to our sample repository. And let's take a look at that sample repository. This application was created using micronaut.io/launch. So it gave me a zip file, and then I took that zip file, extracted it, cleaned up a couple of small things, and placed it into this repository. In addition to the files that were from that zip file, I created two new files. I created a Docker file and then a Jenkins file. For this application, we're going to be creating a container image, and then we're going to be using that container image on Heroku. So let's go ahead and click on Docker file and look at how we're going to be building our application. You can see that this is a multi-stage Docker file. First stage is just the build, and we're just using a basic Tamarin 11 image. I could have chosen to use a Maven-based image, but instead I chose to go ahead and just use the Maven W that was available within the repository. How you do that for yourself is up to you. This is just an example of what you can do. Now, the second stage, and really the runtime stage for this application, is going to be running Java Micronaut server port, because with Heroku, you have to specify a placeholder for the port. And then we're doing -jar, and then specifically demo 0.1.jar. Within our build stage, what we're doing is we're building a fat jar. That's what the Maven W package is doing. And then the only thing that we're bringing from this build stage of the Docker file is just the demo 0.1 jar into our app directory. So at this point, the only specific application code that will be running within the image that we've deployed is the demo 0.1 jar. Now let's go take a look at our Jenkins file. And in our Jenkins file is a fairly straightforward declarative pipeline. As I've already mentioned, we're going to be working with Heroku. So we're going to need to set up a credential using the Heroku API key. We've set up a handful of environment variables for app name and the image name and image tag. And then let's go through our stages here. We're going to build our image by using Docker build. We're going to log into the Heroku registry. We're going to tag and push the image up to the Heroku registry. And then finally, we're going to deploy the application using container release web and then specifying the application name. And then we're going to log out. So first thing, let's go ahead and set up a credential for Heroku API key. So we'll copy that. Let's go back to our controller, click on Manage Jenkins, Manage Credentials. And the API key is just a secret text type credential. So we'll change this to secret text. I'm going to paste in ID and description, but I need the value for secret. So let's go over to Heroku, and under my profile, I'll click on Account Settings, and let's go ahead and scroll down to the API key section. Let's click on Reveal and copy this API key. Let's go back over to our controller and paste in the value into secret. And finally, click on Create. So up to this point, we have our GitHub repository. One thing we haven't done yet is we need to create our application. So let's go ahead and create our application. What is the name of our application? Well, let's go back to our Jenkins file. What we're expecting is Jenkins-example-Micronaut. So we'll copy that and we'll create the application there and click on Create App. So now we have our repository. We have our application within Heroku. We've set up our API key within our Jenkins controller to point at Heroku. So at this point, we're ready to create our job. Let's go ahead and get the URL for our repository. We'll copy that. Let's go back into Dashboard, New Item. We'll type Jenkins-example-Micronaut. We'll select Pipeline and click OK. Let's change pipeline script from SCM. The SCM becomes Git. The URL is what we copied before we left. Let's go ahead and put in a branch specifier of main, and then verify that our script path is Jenkins file. And this is the same name that we have specified over here in our repository right here. So let's go ahead and click on Save, and then click on Build Now. And now that our job's completed, we're ready to go and check out our application. So let's go back over to Heroku. Let's click on Settings. Let's scroll down to our domain, which your app can be found at, which is under Settings. And we'll click on Open Link in New Tab. And we can see here that it's saying Page Not Found. And it's because we don't have a page at the root of our application. In our case, if we take a look at our application, we have an endpoint at /hello. So let's go ahead and go back over to our application. We'll type in /hello. We'll hit Enter, and we see hello world. If you have any questions or comments, you can reach out to us on Twitter @CloudBees. If this video was helpful to you, give us a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed to CloudBees TV yet, why not? Take a moment, click on that subscribe button, and then ring that bell, and you'll be notified anytime there's new content available on CloudBees TV. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.